This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Madras High Court rejects Lankan Minister Douglas Devananda's anticipatory bail plea in a murder case. The Election Commission gets down to the do's and don'ts, a detailed expenditure guideline ahead of the polls. AIADMK is the latest in the line of political parties demanding rescheduling of the polls, suggests late April or early May as an alternative. Arama's phones being tapped, AIADMK MPs say so, demand a probe and the PM's intervention. Round 3 of talks, but still no viable seat-sharing formula for the DMK-Congress combine. DMK's highest-level meeting will focus on manifesto and Congress's demands. And Hollywood sensation is set for making its debut in India. Will Black Swan impress the Indian audiences? Well, a very good evening and welcome to News Tonight with me, Ashmit Kumar. Let's take a quick look at stories from across the nation. The Supreme Court strikes down PJ Thomas's appointment as a CVC, says the Prime Minister's panel failed to consider the integrity of the institution. Under attack from the opposition, the Prime Minister tells NDTV he respects the verdict and will make statements in both the houses. What is going on? The top court slams the government on the black money probe into the alleged tax evader Hassan Ali. Gaddafi loyalists nabbed Dutch Marines engaged in rescue operations are subjected to intensive interrogation as per reports. Steve Jobs makes a surprise appearance to launch a faster, lighter and more powerful iPad 2. And first up, the cries for rescheduling the polls only seem to be growing louder, with the political spectrum resonating with similar demands. Beginning with the BJP, followed by the CPM, incumbents DMK Vaiko today, and now AIADMK Supremo Jayalalitha has written to the Election Commissioner for shifting dates. Now, the AIADMK has cited Class 10, Class 12 and college exams as the reason. It has also argued that Tamil New Year celebrations could hamper the election process. Now, the party has asked the election dates to be shifted to April end or the beginning of May. Meanwhile, in a shocker of a claim only a little over a month from the elections now, the AIADMK MPs have raised the serious allegations of phone tapping. They have alleged the phones of the Chief of Opposition AIADMK Chief Jayalalitha were tapped. The MPs have told the Prime Minister, and I quote, "The right to privacy of our leader Jayalalitha was invaded. Phone tapping is in violation of Jayalalitha's personal liberty," unquote. Now, finger pointing was quick to follow the charges, and the AIADMK MPs are convinced about the state government's hand behind the tapping. Meanwhile, they were knocking on the Prime Minister's door and demanding a judicial probe into the issue. And well, there's more reason why the DMK could be feeling a little jittery. Round 3 of talks between the Congress and the DMK have failed to deliver any returns, with the talks ending inconclusively yet again. And in another spoiler, the 4th set of talks due for this morning never happened. Ghulam Nabi Azad, the Tamil Nadu in charge for Congress, skipped the meeting with the Chief Minister. Both leaders were scheduled to meet today after Wednesday night saw the 3rd round of seat-sharing talks end inconclusively. Now, according to sources, the Congress, which contested 48 seats during the last assembly elections, is demanding more and wants to share in the part as well if the DMK will be elected again. Now, the DMK's high-level meet slated for the 5th of March is expected to focus on demands by the Congress and the election manifesto. Meanwhile, the big game plan aside, the DMK is also in talks with smaller outfits. The Purachi Bharatam, a caste-based outfit, today held its first round of seat-sharing talks with the DMK.
I met Karnanidhi ji yesterday late night, and we had a long discussion. So whatever has come out of the discussion, that also I will have to discuss with my leadership, and after that we'll see, we might need another meeting.
And while major parties are still in a logjam over seat sharing, the Election Commission is off the blocks with regard to Model Code of Conduct. Now, teaming up with the Income Tax Department, the EC will keep an eye on the cash flow via the new poll expenditure monitoring guidelines. Peer Mohammed brings us this report.
One observer of expenses to police 5 assembly constituencies, plus an additional director, investigations to be deployed in each of the 32 districts. This is the EC's plan to stop the cash flow to voters ahead of elections. Something it successfully tested in the Bihar elections after teaming up with the IT department.
Election purpose, all district le or assistant director investigation poduvanga. All district le. So cash pothore ke jo tahval vanda nera income tax ke it will be they will take action. The cash enga irundha vandirke avanga source irka paper trail irka. So income tax le action edukka mudiyum. So income tax is also involved in this election.
Flying squads, static surveillance teams. This election will be high with every contingency accounted for. There will be one flying squad in each constituency. Also, there will be static surveillance team for each of the police stations. There will be 4 to 5 police stations in each constituency. The returning officer can request an additional flying squad if the situation warrants.
Oru constituency ke oru video surveillance team irkum. And the video surveillance team enna பண்ணுவாங்க என்னன்னா முக்கியமா நடக்குது அந்த கான்ஸ்டிட்யூன்சில மீட்டிங் இருக்குதா போஸ்டர்ஸ் இருக்கலாம் ஃபிளாக்ஸ் இருக்கலாம் வண்டி போகுது கொனவா இருக்கலாம் அவங்க வேலை என்ன அத வீடியோல ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணனும் அந்த ரெக்கார்டட் பண்ண அத ஒரு வீடியோ வியூங் டீம் இருக்கும் அதே கான்ஸ்டிட்யூன்சி வீடியோ வியூங் டீம் அவங்க சிடி கட் பண்ணி வீடியோ வியூங் டீம்க்கு கொடுப்பாங்க வீடியோ வியூங் டீம் என்ன வேலை அவங்க வீடியோ பார்த்து அத ஒரு ஷீட் தயார் பண்ணுவாங்க இந்த ரோட்ல 10 போஸ்டர் 10 பேனர் 4 கட் அவுட் அது மாதிரி எழுதி போடுவாங்க சோ இந்த ஷீட் என்னன்னா மாடல் கோட் ஆஃப் கண்டக்ட் வயலேஷன் இருந்தா அது நம்ம ஆர்ஓக்கு அனுப்புவாங்க ஃபார் டேக்கிங் ஆக்ஷன்.
While the system is in place, many political parties may try their best to find loopholes to get their own way. However, you and I can turn into citizen cops and report any flouting of guidelines to toll-free number 1965 in 2 days' time. In Chennai with reporter Peer Mohammed, Lokpriya, NDTV Hindu.
Well, news just coming in. Call it fear of April 13, the date of elections, or perhaps political masterstrokes. Either which way, Congress has likely to get 60 seats from the DMK Congress combine. And again, our sources are confirming this piece of information to us. Now, a joint statement is expected tomorrow, and more details about this one. The DMK Congress combine, which has been again the hotbed of a lot of speculation and talk for the last few days. Now, for more on this, let's go across to our political reporter who has been getting the updates from Anna Revalayam. Now, Lokpriya, a quick word right now. What are your sources telling you about this information right now, that 60 seats, that's where the deal has settled?
Well, yes, Ashmit, the news is just coming in. The sources have indeed confirmed to us that the Congress and the DMK have settled for 60 seats in the DMK Congress alliance. Remember, the Congress was earlier demanding about 90 seats, and afterwards they came down to about 65 seats. But the DMK had said that they will only give them about 55 seats. But this itself is a big win-win situation for the Congress, because first it's getting more seats than what it got in the last assembly elections. Last assembly elections they got about 48 seats, and this time they're getting 60. So that's a huge jump, almost 10 seats jump, more than 10 seats jump in fact. And now that they are like they might have 2 candidates per constituency, per district rather, so it's a huge jump for them and a huge benefit, and the common middle ground has been finally achieved, because there were a lot of speculations doing the round in the DMK as well as the Congress camp that they might rift apart or things like that. But now all those speculations have been put to rest, and this
Lokpriya.
Yes.
Now, Lokpriya, another talking point of this, the negotiations, round 1, round 2, round 3 of talks that we have been reporting, that you have been getting us the updates about. The main talking point was, of course, that the Congress was eyeing a power share in this combine. Any word on that?
Well, no, Ashmit, at this point of time, we can tell you that no word on the power sharing as of yet. Only the numbers have been announced, and only the numbers have been signed. This itself is a huge step, because we need to remember that today morning, Ghulam Nabi Azad, the in charge for Tamil Nadu, skipped a meeting with the Chief Minister. He was scheduled to meet the Chief Minister today, but he skipped the meeting, and he told the reporters at the airport that he will go apprise Sonia Gandhi of the long talk that he had with Karunanidhi. So it all assumes very, very important. But now we can tell you at this point that there is no word yet on the power sharing. We need to find out how that pans out. Yes, as you rightly said, call it the election fever or the pressure that is mounting on both the parties. They have finally arrived at a consensus, and a joint statement is expected to be made tomorrow morning by the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu and as well as Ghulam Nabi Azad, the party in charge. So a lot of action that's going to take place tomorrow.
Right now, Lokpriya, not till very long back, things seem to have hit a stalemate with these two parties. Here again, we saw negotiations after negotiations. First we had P. Chidambaram, followed by again Ghulam Nabi Azad just last night. And we seem to have hit a stalemate. But what is that one trigger? What is that one catalyst that seems to have bound the two parties together to come to develop a consensus on this one figure of 60 seats?
Well, Ashmit, if you had closely noticed, even when their 2G scam had broken out, both the parties had maintained that their alliance is strong. So they didn't want to kind of send out a wrong signal to the people, because at this point, if they send out a wrong signal to people, it will kind of cost both the parties. So that's the thing, and they had said from the beginning that their alliance is strong, and so that's what they've been saying. So now that the consensus has arrived, probably this will even enhance in their goodwill and also probably send out a good feeler to the public. So that's what at least these two parties think. So these two parties definitely do not want to risk it at this particular stage. With the election dates announced and with barely 7 days to go for notification, they do not want to risk losing their alliances, because it's very difficult at this point of time to find out how things are going to go.
Right, Lokpriya, thanks for joining us with all that information. Of course, the big news, this is of course, it has been the talking point within the political spectrum for the past few days about the DMK Congress combine, working things out, different permutations, combination, with one side even saying that, sources suggesting that perhaps there could be a fallout. But nonetheless, that's the big news at this hour, that of course the two parties have settled for that common figure of 60 as of now. No word on power sharing. We'll of course be tracking this story and we'll keep getting you more updates. Now also keep in mind that a joint statement is expected tomorrow. So again, tomorrow will be a big day where we will get more clarity on again the nuances of this, again the alliance that we have just witnessed right now. Again, formation of 60 seats. Just a quick recap, 60 seats is the figure for which Congress seems to have settled, way down from its earlier demand of 90 seats, but then again up by 12 seats from its last figure, which was again which it featured in the last assembly elections, which was 48. So again, that's the status quo as of now. Thanks Lokpriya again for joining us with all those updates. Now staying with the poll fever, staying with the election fever, top officers from the Chennai Police Department and the Chennai Corporation held a coordination meeting to monitor the violation of the election code. Now the Chennai Police have demanded for 15 companies of central paramilitary forces for the upcoming elections bandobast duty. Now the corporation officials say that they are in the process of training 18,000 central and state government staff to work in 3,200 polling booths across the city. Now the police and the corporation officials will shortly hold a meeting with the representatives of various political parties in Tamil Nadu for better coordination during the elections.
Chennai Corporation plays a major role in the election because அவங்க தான் election நடத்துறாங்க. நாங்க வந்து பந்தோபஸ்து கொடுக்கிறோம். So அந்த சைடுல யார் ஆபீசர்ஸ், ரிட்டர்னிங் ஆபீசர்ஸ் இல்ல அசிஸ்டன்ட் ரிட்டர்னிங் ஆபீசர்ஸ் யார், எங்க சைடுல வந்து யார் ஏசிஸ் இல்ல ஸ்டேஷன் ஆபீசர்ஸ் யார். இப்போ நாங்களும் ஒரு தொகுதிக்கு லைசன் ஆபீசர்ஸ் மாதிரி போட்டிருக்கோம். இது சம்பந்தமா ஒரு மீட்டிங் போட்டோம். அது போக பல பிரச்சனைகள் வந்து டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணோம். இப்போ மாரல் கோட் ஆஃப் கான்டக்ட், அதில் போலீஸினுடைய பங்கு என்ன அப்படிங்கிறது, அப்புறம் இந்த ஃப்ளைங் ஸ்குவாட்ஸு அவங்களுடைய பங்கு என்ன, அப்புறம் ஸ்டாட்டிக் சர்வேலன்ஸ் டீமு, அப்புறம் வந்து இப்போ நாளைக்கு வந்து சிஇஓ வந்து ஒரு மீட்டிங் போட்டிருக்காரு பொலிட்டிக்கல் பார்ட்டிஸோட. ஸோ அது முடிஞ்ச பிறகு நாங்கள் பெரிய மீட்டிங் போட வேண்டியது இருக்கும். நாங்களும் போலீஸும் கார்பரேஷனும் சேர்ந்து கூட ஒரு சில மீட்டிங் அரசியல் கட்சிகளுக்கு போட வேண்டியது இருக்கும்.
Yeah, today we had a coordination meeting with all the police officers, with our returning officers and zonal officers regarding the conduct of poll. We mainly focused on enforcing the model code of conduct, and there are a lot of teams that needs to be formed, like video surveillance team, expenditure monitoring team, model code of conduct enforcement team and other such teams. So we discussed about how to form the teams and how to carry forward.
Now on to some other news. The Madras University has planned to reschedule their undergraduate and postgraduate exams, which were scheduled to be held between the 1st and the 30th of April. Now, since the elections will be held on April 13th, most of the college centers will turn into polling booths. Now, many colleges have now requested a change in exam dates since the polling centers will have to stock up voting machines. Now, Madras University Vice Chancellor Dr. G. Thiruvasagam has proposed to give a break in exams between April 8th to April 14th and then continue with the normal process. Now, he said that he will hold a meeting with the committee on March 10th, which will represent all the colleges and discuss this plan of action. However, this plan might change if there are any more orders passed by the district commissioner or the election commissioner. Now, nearly around 1.5 lakh students will be taking their exams this year. Well, in other news, the anticipatory bail of Sri Lankan Minister Douglas Devananda was dismissed by the Madras High Court today. A non-bailable warrant was issued against him in a 1986 murder case in which one Thirunavukarasar was shot dead. Now, earlier the Madras High Court refused to quash the warrant against him and asked him to move the right forum to get either bail or anticipatory bail. Now, the minister filed an anticipatory bail petition in the Madras High Court. The court in turn today dismissed it, saying that he has to go to the lower court, which issued the warrant, to recall it. Well, again, we'll be slipping into a small break right now, but of course, we'll get you more news and updates on the other side. Keep watching.